Good afternoon and welcome to the Broadband Development Congress in Barcelona. I am Dr. Ronan de Renesse, Vice President of Telecoms Research at Omdia. Omdia is a founding member of the World Broadband Association. On behalf of the WBBA, it is my pleasure to welcome you to our 11th Broadband Development Congress, held alongside Mobile World Congress here in Barcelona. So, the broadband industry is entering a transformational era. AI is redefining network architecture. According to Omdia, total internet traffic will grow 5-fold in the next 10 years. 1/3 of that traffic will come from net new AI applications. So infrastructure is shifting really from connectivity-centric to intelligence-driven. Operators are evolving from bandwidth providers to intelligence enablers in an agentic world. This new phase demands more than incremental upgrades. It requires redesigning telecoms infrastructure to support AI-native applications, distributed computing, ultra-low latency services, and scalable, sustainable growth. That is exactly why the WBBA created Broadband Development Congress platform. Since the launch of Broadband Development Congress brand in October 2023, we have successfully hosted 10 of those events worldwide, building a truly global dialogue across continents. Each edition, hosted in Barcelona, Shanghai, Sao Paulo, Cape Town, Paris, has convened operators, technology partners, policymakers, and ecosystem leaders to move from discussion to action. Today, we gather for our 11th edition, once again here in Barcelona at the center of the world telecom ecosystem. Very exciting. And our journey continues, does not stop here. Later this year, we look forward to bringing Broadband Development Congress to Vienna, expanding our global footprint and strengthening international collaboration further. This growth reflects an industry clear message. Broadband transformation cannot happen in isolation. It requires partnership, alignment, and shared vision. So today's conversations will focus on how we collectively redesign telecom infrastructure for the next phase of agentic AI. Practically, strategically, and at scale. I encourage you to engage openly, challenge perspectives, and explore collaboration opportunities throughout the session. Thank you for being part of this global movement. And with that, I am delighted to invite to the stage Dr. Li Zhenmao, WBBA Chairman of the Board, to officially open the WBBA Broadband Development Congress Barcelona.
So, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, dear partners and colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's a great pleasure to meet you here at Barcelona for the WBBA Broadband Development Congress. First of all, I would like to extend my warmest welcome and most sincere gratitude to all of you. Today we have some very important guests, to attending. A special guest is Mr. John Hoffman, the chairman of GSMA. Once again, attend today's Congress. He will make his address very soon. Let's welcome. Thank you very much, John, our old friend. And also today we have another very important guest from the Ministry of Information Technology of China, Mr. Xie Chun. He is now the Director General for Department of Telecom Development. So he is a policymaker for China's development of telecommunication industry. So welcome, Mr. Xie Chun. And we have other important guests. I will not introduce them one by one. Okay. Currently, AI is developing rapidly around the world with technology, application, and the ecosystem resulting in synergistic harmony. The integration of AI with economy and society is accelerating, transitioning from superphysical to a profound levels, concurrently driving the advancement of broadband and the cloud. According to the WBBA Broadband and Cloud Development Index report, AI is fueling the expansion of the cloud market. It is estimated that by 2028, global public cloud expenditure will reach $564 billion. Meanwhile, global data center spending is projected to surge to $1 trillion by 2030. How to seize the development opportunities brought by AI and steer the evolution of broadband and cloud towards greater intelligence has become the key to shaping the industry's future and enhancing the value of broadband and cloud. To this end, this Congress adopts the theme Agentic AI infrastructure, unlocking the next wave of broadband innovation, as shown on the screen. Inviting representatives from WBBA members and the industry leaders to share their best practice in applying AI in broadband and cloud. We have a very important guest today, Mr. Liu Guiqing, the president of China Telecom. He will give the keynote speech on this topic. Okay. And as you can see from yesterday's opening speech by Mr. Liu, China Telecom has done this area for several years and very good achievement has been reached. A dedicated roundtable also will be convened to foster broadband innovation and advancement. The event will also feature the release of our latest research findings, such as all optical network architecture, the Gigacity Index contributing to the high-quality development of the global broadband and the cloud industry. So as a bridge and a link for global cooperation in technology and the industry within the broadband and the cloud field, WBBA achieved fruitful outcomes in last year. So WBBA has improved its organizational structure by completing the expansion of the board of directors and newly establishing a finance committee, a collaboration licensing committee. WBBA has also enabled the state progress of membership, and also the membership fee has collected for the first time, gave a very good response from our members. The association has grown 230 members already, spanning over 50 countries across 5 continents, with participation from world-renowned operators, equipment manufacturers, cloud and AI service providers, as well as some research institutes. Moving forward, WBBA will further expand the size of the board of directors and the advisory committee, continue to grow its global membership base, and steadily extend the reach of its worldwide industry cooperation system. WBBA continues to deepen its international communication. Last year, WBBA BDC, a series of conferences held by WBBA for last 3 years, also was held across 5 countries on 4 continents, significantly enhancing industry exchange and collaboration. In partnership with nearly 20 industry stakeholders across South America, we jointly issued the inaugural São Paulo Manifesto to chart a new course for digital economic development in the region. At this Congress, WBBA will formalize a strategic cooperation agreement with TMF, Telecom Management Forum, which are Director General Mr. Marty Greeler served as a chairman for TMF for almost 10 years, which is also a very important organization in telecom industry. So the agreement with TMF is to advance in-depth project collaboration. Furthermore, our flagship summit this year will be relocated to Vienna, Austria, in October this year. So welcome to Vienna, to join the flagship summit of WBBA. So WBBA has actively steered industry progress. The WBBA Broadband and Cloud Development Index report was released, which analyzed the digital infrastructure capabilities of over 70 countries, providing crucial guidance for industry development and investment. The selection of outstanding projects in the Broadband Excellency Awards has established a global benchmark for industry development. Moving forward, the association will continue to release flagship reports, strengthen project collaborations with other international organizations. Yes, 2 years ago, in Barcelona, we have signed strategic partnership agreement with GSMA. So thank you again, GSMA. Okay, Mr. John Hoffman, for your support. So this kind of cooperation with other international organizations, okay, make greater contributions to leading the industry forward. So, ladies and gentlemen, this year is a year of horse, according to the Chinese custom. We are confident that we can achieve higher targets and more progresses. We sincerely welcome members from around the world and across all domains of the industry ecosystem to join WBBA and to take advantage of WBBA. Let's work together to accelerate the development of new digital information infrastructure and collectively shape a bright future for the global broadband and cloud industry. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Li Jianmao. I would like now to welcome to the stage Mr. John Hoffman, CEO and Director of the GSMA. Thank you.
Dr. Li, Martin, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. And special thanks to China Telecom and WBBA for this kind invitation to say a few words. As you know, we're here to talk about Agentic AI, and that's a sign in itself of how far we've come. So about a decade ago, AI was more or less invisible to us. It was working in the back end, analyzing data, and maybe optimizing networks. But the rise of large language models then brought it into sort of our daily lives. And today, AI is shaping how we work, how we live, and how we solve problems. And its impact is far-reaching. It's not just relevant to a Chinese engineer or to a Kenyan farmer. But of course, this industry will never, ever stand still. We're now entering the next phase of AI. We've moved from AI that processes information to AI that collaborates with us. And now that AI can reason, make decisions, and act autonomously, in short, it's a new initiative. Agentic AI will be a game changer for many of our industries. Imagine an AI assistant that monitors network service, prioritizes mission-critical applications and services, and then resolves service issues before the user even realizes there's a problem. Or a security system that doesn't detect threats, but autonomously investigates, isolates affected areas, and then develops defense in real time. Now, some estimates predict that this market could reach more than $50 billion by the end of this decade. And we all know that's a huge opportunity. But to unlock it, we really need to focus, we think, on three things: the infrastructure, the capabilities, and collaboration. Now let's start with infrastructure, because without it, frankly, none of this will be possible. Yesterday in the opening keynote, Vivek, our Director General, spoke about the need to complete the 5G journey. And Agentic AI is one of the clearest reasons why this is so important, because our networks operate around the clock, make decisions in real time, and rely on the constant flow of data in order, frankly, to work. But that creates a new set of demands. demands that 5G standalone and 5G advanced are specifically designed for: high reliability, ultra-low latency, and far greater network capabilities. But just as China and the US are at the forefront of those deployments, frankly, mobile CapEx is ramping up to meet those needs, which is expected to reach more than $1.2 trillion between 2025 and 2030. And we have high hopes that rollout will accelerate 5G into other markets. And let me be clear, this matters. It matters because without the right network evolution, we won't be able to scale agentic AI outside of the most sort of advanced markets. And AI should not be limited. It should be ubiquitous. But technology is only half the story, which brings me on to my second topic, capabilities. The sectors where agentic AI could be the greatest in terms of impact are also some of those most heavily regulated. And to operate safely in those environments, it must operate at the highest standards. And that's where we see a challenge today. Telecom markets, for example, our general purpose AI still falls short on domain-specific needs. It lacks specialist knowledge to interpret network information, understand regulations, and carry out critical network tasks. That's why with the GSMA, we're working with our partners to create telco-grade AI, developing a sector-specific data set, training new models, and building an ecosystem-wide community. Now, we believe that with technology like AI, trust must be at the forefront. It's essential. And when it's acting autonomously, that urgency only grows. Now, moving on to our third priority, which you've heard already, and I'm sure you will later today, the need for collaboration. Agentic AI will require input from every part of our ecosystem, from mobile networks and fixed broadband, to data, to compute, and to all the services that are built on top. And no single company can deliver that by themselves. Transformation does not take place in a vacuum. That's why collaboration is so critically important. Now, the GSMA and WBBA are united by a shared ambition to better the world through connectivity. Whether it's in projects like our Voice over Wi-Fi paper or our work on UN SDGs, our collaboration creates a bridge across the ecosystem. And we're very fortunate to have a partner like WBBA working on these activities. Because it helps mobile operators, broadband players, and frankly, the entire ecosystem to scale innovation, share best practices, and drive greater interoperability. And we're especially pleased to welcome WBBA as one of our strategic partners at MWC Shanghai in June, where we'll continue the important conversations that are taking place here today. So as we look ahead, it's clear that agentic AI holds massive potential for our industries and our ecosystem. But potential alone, well, it isn't enough. The decisions that we make today will determine how this technology evolves into the future. To ensure that it delivers true value, we must keep our three priorities front of mind: infrastructure, capabilities, and maybe most important, collaboration. And if we get these three things right, the opportunities, frankly, are enormous. So let's move forward with the same level of ambition curiosity, determination that have helped get us this far. I thank you very much. I wish you all the very best this afternoon and into your conferences throughout the rest of the week here at WBBA as well as MWC. Please, please continue the fight, continue to innovate, and continue to collaborate. Shishi, thank you.
Thank you. I would like now to introduce to the stage Mr. Liu Guiqin, President of China Telecom. Thank you.
Mr. Xie Chun, Dr. Li Mao, and Mr. John Hoffman. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's a great pleasure to join you all here in Barcelona at the 2026 WBBA Broadband Development Congress. On behalf of China Telecom, I would like to share our thoughts and practice on Agentic AI and cloud network broadband convenience. AI has advanced by leaps and bounds in recent years. At the beginning with perception AI focused on solving classification and recognition tasks. Then it moved into generative AI, revolutionizing how we create content. Today, we are entering the era of agentic AI, one defined by autonomous execution and intelligent collaboration. Communication has expanded from people to intelligence agent. Massive numbers of agents are now connected and collaborating. Cloud, network, and intelligence resources are integrated and orchestrated. This marks the dawn of the Internet of Agents. It is estimated that by 2028, at least 15% of daily work decisions will be made autonomously by agent AI. By 2030, the agent market will surpass $45 million. With a compound annual growth rate of over 15%. Since this transformative opportunity has become a shared priority for telecom operators worldwide. With that in mind, I'd like to share three key observations. First, Agent AI will drive both quantitative and qualitative changes in cloud network convenience infrastructure. Quantitatively, the Internet of Agents will connect 100 million objects. Inference computing power will be 10 times that of training computing power. Quantitatively, it will evolve into distributed autonomous architecture. Computing power will shift from the cloud to the edge and end device. Internet and semantics will open a new communication paradigm for intelligence engines. Second, Agent AI will upgrade application from Plus AI to AI Plus. It will enable an enterprise to integrate AI across the entire industrial chain, gradually enhancing operational efficiency and reduce emissions. Agent and embodied intelligence will give rise to revolutionary new products. Third, Agent AI will expand the scope of security from network security to agent trustworthiness. In the past, network security focused on data traffic and network boundaries. Today, intelligent agents can make decisions and use tools autonomously, while boosting the intelligence and proactivity of security defense. Security risks now span cloud, network, data, models, and applications. We need mechanisms to ensure that agent behaviors are identifiable, controllable, and traceable. China Telecom fully embraces AI. We have upgraded our corporate strategy to codification, digital transformation, and AI for good. We have stepped up efforts to take key technological challenges for Xizang and build an L-shaped capacity layout featuring a 5-in-1 intelligent cloud system. We have achieved breakthrough in 3 areas. First, we have built a new digital infrastructure, including large capacity, low latency, intelligent computing networks, and a new 8 vertical and 8 horizontal backbone optical fiber network. Our new metropolitan network covers more than 18 million users. We are also promoting the deployment of 15 gig-PON and deliver 10 Gbps home access. Our accessible intelligent computing capacity has reached 18.7 flops. Second, we have innovated agent AI applications. We have upgraded the Xingchen large models and built an industrial-leading mass platform. Internally, we have deployed 981 digital employees across 23 categories, reduced network fault handling time by 14% year-on-year. Externally, intelligence terminals such as AI phones and 10E smart screen have been widely adopted during this Spring Festival. Our new launched 10E smart ringtone was well received. We have built the Xin Xiaocheng cross-terminal unified agent portal and the 10E Shilian international platform to deliver intelligent video service for users worldwide. We have also developed quite a few industrial-specific large models and many industrial-specific engines, which have saved more than 20,000 customers and reduced energy costs by 5 to 15% in typical industrial scenarios. Third, we have deepened open cooperation. We have completed this industrial-first inference verification of heterogeneous large models based on Triton, with performance reached 19% that of the native operator library. We have built a multi-dimensions AI security protection system, raising our AIGC authenticity identification rate over 19%. We can identify more than 95% of abnormal agent behaviors and encrypt over 90% of high-risk tools. Looking ahead, China Telecom progress 3 initiatives together with WBBA and industrial partners. First, work with WBBA to advance the technological innovation. We will put our strength in research on agent, embodied intelligence, and cloud network convenience, as well as in development of AI and cloud-related standards. Second, deepening industrial cooperation with WBBA. We will build an intelligent cloud ecosystem and launch the WBBA benchmark case. Third, leverage WBBA to bridge the global digital and intelligence divide. We will enhance global cloud network service and lower the threshold of AI applications. A just cause finds great support. A journey with many companions gets far. Let's build an AI-powered future together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Liu Guiqin, for this great presentation. I'd like now to introduce our next keynote speaker, Mr. Mark Dussner, CTIO at Swisscom. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everybody. Let me start our transformation that we did, or that we started, kicked off last year, from best network, which used to be our strategy, to intelligent networks. Maybe for those who don't know Swisscom at heart, you should, but if you don't, this is Swisscom at a glance. Our vision is to be innovators of trust. So every employee should innovate, but innovation in a sense that the customers who put their trust in us get an innovation that fulfills all of that. We have roughly 15 billion Swiss francs revenue, 5 billion Swiss francs of EBITDA, and we're operating in 2 countries. One is Switzerland, where I'm the CTIO for, and the other one is Italy. In both we do mobile and fixed. In both we do cloud and IT business. So we're very similar in that, and we're getting closer and closer in collaborating in other areas. But before talking about, or instead of talking about us, let's talk about our ambition. When we started to come up with a strategy for 2030, we looked into, okay, what's happening? Or what will happen? And we believe in 2030, roughly 80% of our customer interactions at hotlines and others will be served by AI. Why not 100? Because we believe there's a market for customers who are willing to pay to still be served by a human being, not because we're not able to do it from a technology standpoint. Another observation I think we all do is there was this famous Moore's law, right? Doubling compute every 18 months. What we see now is tenfolding compute GPUs every 18 months. So innovation is speeding up. So whatever we do, whatever system we build, it needs to cater for that speed. And I don't mean just download or upload speeds, but that speed of innovation, that speed of change. We already see that a huge proportion of users are using OTT streaming instead of linear TV. And we cater with that by using CDN networks, right, to fulfill that in the best way. What if AI will transform the film industry into personalized films? This will have a massive impact on our networks. And what we do see as well is the business of cloud computing is continuously growing 20% every year, and so is our business in IT. Whereas our telco business is saturated and is declining. So combining IT and telco is a mandatory in order to be able to grow. Before starting our strategy, we said, okay, let's look back. Can we fulfill promises we once made? And in 2020, we had our what we called Falcon strategy, which was all about best network. And back then, we said we want to have more than 56% connected homes. So not homes passed, homes connected with fiber. And we did that. We wanted to have roughly 90% population with 5G+. We superseded that. We wanted to be able to have 2 years in a row without an escalated major. So that's our most severe incident category. And we achieved that. Unfortunately, we just had a new one, but that's what it is. Restart, refresh, go again. And we wanted to streamline processes. We wanted to streamline platforms and networks. And we did that. More than 90% of our suppliers we reduced. And we streamlined 40% of our IT platform. And next year we will have more than 70% of our networks and platforms reduced. Why? Because simplicity enables speed. And simplicity therefore enables innovation. That was our strategy in 2020, as I've said, best net, best operations, best product experience, and simplicity. And our new strategy going forward until 2030 is called Vanguard. Vanguard is the scouting troop heading ahead with obviously the same foundation, best network and operations, but on top, best IT and architecture. So how can we serve with an architecture that is fast and adaptive? And best data and AI. No surprise. But all of that will not happen without best people and culture. It's our mindset that is the limiting factor in transformation. It's nearly never technology. So we made some transformative bets to create that tangible, because what does that mean 2030? And I will not read all of them, but just a few. For example, starting with operations, mean time to restore service, we want to be able to do in 5 minutes instead of an average 80 today. Or we want to reduce our operational efforts by 80%. 80% less efforts because it's done autonomously via agents. We want to provide gigabit range to everybody in Switzerland. And we want to get rid of our copper. 40% of our copper shall be reduced by then. We want to be able to do changes whenever we want to. Today, mainly we do changes at night for resilience purposes. We want to have a system in place where we can update continuously. Remember, speed is the new currency that we're dealing with. The ability to speed up innovation and adapt. Those are a few examples. As I've said, I don't want to read all of them. So the basis on which we work upon is we looked into what's available and took the open digital architecture from TM Forum and applied it to us. So we are implementing ODA in our architecture to enable what I just said. So we continue to do best network and best operations. On best IT and architecture, we started a huge BSS transformation. We just started it this year. We started the ODM transformation, so within ODA, within the Open Digital Architecture, there's a concept of operational domain managers, which means all production, like wireless data, voice, or a line, right? So the fixed line connectivity, or some cloud services. They should be self-sufficient domains. What does that mean? They all have their CI/CD pipelines, they all have their own inventory, they all have their own assurance, their own observability. And by dividing those in multiple small things, we can get speed again. So everything is addressable via API, which means, for example, we're doing a mobile core, the packet core, and in order to get IP addresses, in the past we had 30 engineers doing IP design. Today, it's an API call. I need an IP address range /20, and I get it. Everything else is automated. And best data and AI, so what we're doing right now is we created a platform, we call it One Data Platform, where all source-aligned data, every data we have, is transformed into data products until the end of this year. And then we shut down all the reports and talk to our data. So ending up, how do we do getting back to broadband? What does that mean for broadband? Broadband, be it wireless or wireline, is the backbone of everything I talked about. There's no AI without connectivity. There's no data transported without connectivity. So working on that and being the digital backbone of Switzerland is key. So by the end of that decade, we want to have 75 till 80% of our consumers and customers connected, so really into the flat. 10 gig is what I have. We want to have 5G plus coverage, and by the end of this decade, most likely 6G live. We're working with alternatives to compensate for those really far out, high in the mountains. We do have a few of them, but still maintain the same speed and performance and latency and all the other aspects in order to enable the new world. What does that mean? Less copper. So I expect that by the end of this year, most likely we will have more people connected via fiber than copper. And we already started to pull out copper. Why is that? Because it's very inefficient. Everybody knows it's not fast. It consumes a lot of energy, which is a lot of cost, and doesn't support ESG. So we're pulling that out and redoing it. And then we apply AI in whatever we do. So as I've said, we reduced a lot of platforms, a lot of networks. We built a single IP network. We used to have 15. Now we have a single IP network that we secure and create more, and in order to enhance resiliency, especially for our B2B customers, together with Huawei in a dual net, so we have two versions of it. We build in resilience on a constant basis. For example, we validate it in live operations. Every month, we pull some plugs in live operations on a day. We pull the strings to see, is it still running? Does the resilience kick in? Does the auto prevention kick in? And last but not least, we apply AI to do better planning, to do proactive planning. For example, on the IP transport network, we started to build a POC as a digital twin that is simulating our network. And we did a change on the IP transport, and we had an incident. Not a big one, but an incident. And obviously, we did test that before in the lab, and the incident didn't happen. With the digital twin, we could simulate that behavior. So the digital twin was already better than having an app. And that was a hint to, okay, we're on the right track. This is what we need to pursue. I always have that motto, no labs. Instead, I want canary deployments, I want digital twins. So, and all of that, as I've said, is applying AI to serve us better in operations. In the end, to enable digitalization and AI for all of Switzerland. Thank you.
Thank you for this excellent presentation. I'd like now to invite to the stage Dominique Lacroix-Panter, Vice President of Wireline Networks and Infrastructure at Orange. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me. And I'm happy to present you what transformation AI and agentic AI will bring to our networks within Orange. First of all, some key figures of Orange, brand new key figures, because we had our capital market days a few days ago in February. So Orange is a worldwide group with more than 340 million customers, including Mass Orange. We are in 26 countries in Europe and EMEA, sorry. We are #1 most valued telco brand in Europe, and more than around, I would say, 100 million of connectable homes. And 40 billion of revenues and even more. What is also of importance is that we have 450,000 kilometers of submarine cables to interconnect all our countries and all the continents also, and 810,000 kilometers of WDM networks altogether within the group. So we have quite interesting basics to adopt and to prepare the networks for AI. Just a quick overview of where we are, a bit more in detail. So in Europe, we are in Moldova, Romania, Poland, Slovakia, Belgium and Luxembourg, Spain, and of course, France. And in Africa, I won't go into the 18 countries detail, but we have a good presence in Africa, and it's an area of growth, of course, for Orange also. So let's go back to the AI and agentic AI era. As it was said before, it is definitely the big shift of the 2 days and the coming years, and the traffic pattern will evolve a lot. Of course, it will evolve in volume, and there is already a huge demand on capacity on the backbones, for instance. And even if we put CDN and so on, still there will be a huge amount of traffic needed. There will also, and all these figures are based on analysis and Omdia, by the way, but some others also. There will be a boost on the upstream, especially when we will come to the multimodal AI with upstream of videos and so on. And the nature of traffic will change, and 2/3 of the internet traffic will be AI related. Oops, I'm too close. By 2030. So I won't go too much into detail, but just to say that we will definitely shift from human-based interaction to agentic-based interactions. And we will have also, it was said before, we will have to deal with trust. There are, with this era of AI, also like bad bots coming, and quite an impressive amount of it. So we will have to give trust with our networks also. So we have, with this era, we have key challenges and opportunities for Orange networks to operate and evolve the entire network as a network stack as one system. So in our networks, we are dealing with all the stacks from the home, the Wi-Fi, then the access, the transport, the IP, the telco cloud platforms, and at the end, the API and the platforms and services that we can provide. So there is a shift, and this one system must be adapted to traffic evolution that we just mentioned before, DC to DC, cloud to cloud, edge to cloud, and upstream. This system must be intelligent and efficient. Intelligent in terms also of scalability, elasticity, programmable as a service, and efficient in terms of cost also, and in terms of CSR, CO2 savings and CSR altogether is very important also for Orange. And they must be trusted and reliable, secure, resilient, sovereign when it's needed also, and an always-on connectivity, and one also very important foundation for our networks is best-in-class QS. All of this will be based on two principles, designing and providing networks for AI and agentic AI, but also using AI and agentic AI for our networks, it was said before, for the operations and so on. So I will focus today on what this implies on our fixed networks. So the lower layer, I would say, of this one system, of this one network, that are access, transport, and IP. So this traffic evolution implies a very important bit rate and also networks performance that must be SLO driven with low latency, low jitter, low loss, predictable and high throughput. What does this mean? Today we are developing XGS-PON on the access, and I will focus on fixed networks. This is the domain I'm in charge, but of course this implies also evolution on RAN and on other networks. So on fixed access, we need to go to XGS-PON, and we are already going to it, and even more, 50 gig PON was said before. On the transport, we need to have ultra-high broadband DC to DC. Today, this backbone DC to DC interconnection is based on 400 gig, 800 gig, but we will go, I'm sure, further, 1.6, 3.2, etc. And we must be able to provide different kind of solutions depending on what the customer is asking. Of course, we can provide WDM and a dedicated WDM system, also called MOFN. We provide also dark fibers and hosting when it is needed for the customer that will build its own stack on top of it. We also can provide IP over WDM. This is a technology that can be of interest, especially for point-to-point, very, very high broadband highways for AI. And it is important to have DC to DC, very high broadband, but also intra-data center or intra-data center campuses to address it, and to address it in terms of latency, ultra-low latency. And for this, we are in particular looking at hollow core fibers and APN, all photonic networks. Sorry for the acronym. As I was mentioning before, these networks must be intelligent and efficient. So these two schemes, I won't go into details, but these two schemes are illustrating what we mean by this. First of all, on the left-hand side for you, the intelligent networks. What we aim at is an IP network that is having is a core network, like a stateless one, but very efficient in routing, based on SRv6, for instance, and going cloud to cloud or edge to cloud. And on top of that, the control of the network controller, will be can be in the cloud and AI empowered with telemetry and all what is needed for that. And also in the cloud we can provide the network functions. All of this achievable through APIs or through platforms like, for instance, Orange Business is proposing Evolution platform that can be an entry point for having all these services. And they must be efficient. To be efficient, AI helps and will continue to help. And we are developing a new operating model at different level, but even at the lower level, like the WDM level, we are working and developing AI solutions to help to be quicker in MTTR, as it was said before, be quicker in fiber root cause analysis, and also be multi-vendor, which is very important. All of this enables us also, through digital twins and so on, to plan better and reroute better the network to be resilient. Resiliency is key for the networks, trusted also. So again, on these 3 layers, we are looking at different solutions to provide this. And what is important also is that we must be always on, connectivity must be always on, especially AI and agents are quite chatty, I think. And they don't sleep, agents, so they must talk to each other at any time, anywhere, even when the customer is moving. So this seamless connectivity is very important also. So this can translate for the access on a complementarity of access solution. Of course, we offer fiber, FTTH, but if fiber and FTTH is not there, we can offer fixed wireless access. And if it's not there, we can even offer satellite broadband. So we need to offer this complementarity to be always on and to reach also the maximum of people. On the Wi-Fi also, we are working a lot on QS because sometimes, often we hear the fiber is not good. But actually the fiber is good, but the inside the home, the Wi-Fi quality is not so good, so we work on this last part also. On the transport, we believe in multi-versity. Today, the minimum we can offer to our customers is the diversity of routes, but more and more we are asked for 3-versity, quadriversity, so multi-versity is key. And also backupping one network by another, for instance, a terrestrial link with a submarine one. And even it can be microwave or satellite. We can adapt, we must adapt the traffic we are backupping because the bit rates are not the same exactly, but it is also important. And restore very fast, very dynamically. And on the IP transit, we work on protection. And all together on these all layers and even upper on quantum safe solution. So I'm arriving at the end of the presentation. So just some key takeaways. AI and agentic AI is there. It's really a big transformation for our networks. We must be ready. We must work together also, as it was said before. And we must provide intelligent, agile networks, efficient, trusted, reliable, and very high bandwidth also. We are prepared for that, and we think there is really a virtuous cycle between the networks for AI and the AI for networks. Thank you very much. This is the end of my presentation. And at Orange, we trust the future. It is our new strat plan, and we are really convinced that a lot of good things for the networks will happen. Thank you very much.
Trust the future. Indeed. Thank you for this great presentation. So now I'd like to introduce to the stage the next keynote presenter. So this is Mr. Steven Zhao, Vice President of Data Communication Product Line at Huawei. Thank you.
Okay. Dear guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm Steven, come from the Huawei Datacom product line. I'm very happy to meet you again in the beautiful Barcelona. I think today I will share is our latest innovation and practice in the Datacom domain. I think, as you know, maybe currently most of the carriers still meet some challenge. I think the first one is the revenue. According to the third-party forecast, in the next 5 years, I think the traffic growth cargo will achieve more than 20%, but it's up only growth only 1.3%. I think the second one is maybe the OPEX. As you know, currently the operation and the maintenance cost will take more than 70% of the total cost. And also 70% of this cost will the repetitive operation duplicated task cost. I think it's the third one, I think is the new business monetization. As you know, currently, especially in the AI infrastructure and some new business, as every year, our carriers will invest more than 20% growth. But this new service is very difficult to monetization. So all the carriers think about use the AI technology to do the monetization. In the last year, I remembered it's more than 70 carriers will use a new AI technology and release his AI strategy. But this year, this number, I think, grew to the 170. I think a lot of carriers has already got a profit from the AI technology, such as maybe in the macro, CTM has used AI technology to get the experience management. And also for the Orange, use AI technology to do the operation and maintenance efficiency improve. I think with the AI technology monetization, AI technology also increased very fast. Maybe several years ago, we only talk about the level 1, only the chart. I think the level 2 will be the maybe reasoner. Currently, we have already reached to the level 3, Agentic. Even some of the more advanced customer has already reached the level 4, innovator. As each AI level up, I think his value will grow 100 times because he can understanding more complex issues and his task scope will extend it 10 times. I think according to the third-party data, we can see more than 56% of the global carriers has already used AI agent. And then for his use case, the number 1 is marketing. The number 2 is the network operation and maintenance. I think from the TMF opinions, I think 70% repetitive operation and maintenance task can be replaced by the AI. And some 20% complex issues for AI can give the assisted suggestion and the decision by the human. I think in the last year, maybe somebody remembered, is WBB has announced a 95.5G R2 white paper. Why we not release this white paper? As you know, many experts agree with the IETF opinions. For the IP layer, it's a very special layer. It's always driven by the application and the terminals. So 95.0 R2 white papers is the first time we introduce the AI into the network and want to use this AI technology to strut into the intelligent era for the carrier. Oh, sorry. Okay. I think what's our thinking? For the intelligent era, we think about how to bring new values for the old carriers. So this year in the Barcelona, we launched our new next generation WAN solutions. I think in these solutions, we will bring 3 main features for all carriers. I think the first one is security and resilience. As you know, in the traditional networks, only protected by the firewall on the boundary. But we are the first time to build in security and resilience in the network element. I think for this one, we can to build a proactive defense system for the cybersecurity. I think the second one is a multi-dimensional awareness. As you know, if the customer want to do experience management, if they don't get the behavior of the every application, he cannot do it. I think the third one is network autonomy. We just now I mentioned, currently we have already reached level 3 for agent. In our solutions, we introduce the AI agent into our solution. We want to use it to reshape operation and maintenance to quickly improve the efficiency. I think the first one I want to mention is a multi-dimensional awareness. I think in the traditional carrier networks, every customer want to use maybe to identify the application and give the SLA of the every application and do the maybe experience management. I think in the initial phase, I think the pricing is very good. He get a lot of customer. But currently, everything is changed. The encrypt application and traffic takes more and more. According to the third party, it states currently more than 50% application and traffic will be encrypted, and later will be more. I think currently, hackers meet the challenge, so we think about how to help them. And also, in this year, in our solutions, we released our Xingluo identification engine. With this engine, we can use our algorithm. We can help customer to precisely identify the encrypt as traffic. I think we have to do the live test in the Egypt telecom. In this network, our result get maybe more than 98% accuracy. I think the result is very good. The customer pilot is very happy. I think the second one is we want to do our new engine to do process marketing. As you know, we can use this one to do the several dimensions to create a user profile. With the user profile, all the carriers can find what's the customer requirement, what's the issue of this customer. He can help them to do the precisely as marketing. I think in the Thailand, the AS has used this pilot to increase his precise as marketing from the 2 point to the 7 point. I think second one I want to mention is the security and the resilience. Just now, as we mentioned, it's the first time in the industry. As you know, we can see some challenge. According to the third-party data, I think every hour in the global carriers will meet 4,000 attacks from the network. I think in the 2022, I remembered, Ukraine carriers was attacked by the hacker. All the router configuration was clear. The service interrupted for 12 hours. It's a disaster. He has lost about maybe $8 million. And also, according to the third-party data, every year we will have the 200 root hijacked. I think from the open news, AWS, his DNS server was hijacked. I think he lost more than $18.3 million. I think it's very difficult. So for Huawei, we think about how to help a customer. We use the new technology to develop a new board. The first one we named it maybe cybersecurity. is a intrinsic is a security board. With this board, we can real time to monitor the file, to monitor the process, to monitor the memory of this network element, to ensure everything is safety. I think the second one we developed is a new control board. With this board, we can do the maybe 40-dimensional knowledge graph. With this one, we can identify the root is hijacked or not. I think we have to do the pilot in the Chinese carriers. I think in the 10 times, we have blocked maybe the 33 attacks and blocked more than 880 is, and 8,800 key attacked package. I think the last one I want to mention is network autonomy. As you know, currently, our carriers networks increase our network element very quickly, but the operation and maintenance human resource cannot increase. So he made some difficult. I have a case in the China Mobile Guangdong. In the China Mobile Guangdong, we can see 1 month his work order from the 2.5 to the 40,000, to 25,000 to the 40,000. I think, and in of it is 40% is a repetitive operation and the maintenance work order. So we think about how to help them to reduce the cost. I think the other way is we have the date in the recent 2 years in the globe, there have the 62 network accident will be caused by the operation and maintenance. So we introduced the AI agent in our iMaster NCE. We name it the NetSbridge. I think with this one, we want to realize the system from the passive response to the maybe the proactive maintenance. This is our target. I think with this one, I think in the Guangdong province pilot, I think we can help them to do the precisely is arrange work order to let the operation and the maintenance engineers only one time on site and precisely repair the bug and issues. I think according to the date, Guangdong province has already reduced 30% MTTR, and also every year he can reduce $3 million. I think also the carriers only, just now I mentioned, is only find the issues we to repair it, but most important is earlier to find the issue of this risk of this network. So if with our NetSbridge, we will help customer to do the analysis and the thinking and take actions to help them to earlier to find the issue of this network, to help them to improve the efficiency and the network quality. I think at the end of my sharing, I hope the industry can work together to strengthen the innovation and maybe technical innovation. I think as to help all the carriers straight into an intelligent era. On the other hand, I hope based on the Netphone 5.G, WBB has already hold a pioneer plan. All the carriers can do quickly deploy Net 5.5G solutions to help carriers to increase his business. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Zhao, for this great presentation. I'd like to invite to the stage now Dr. Reha Çetin, General Manager of IST Systems at Istanbul Airport. Thank you.
distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, welcome and good afternoon. Secondly, I would like to, my polite invitation from Huawei for that stage. I will thank Huawei also. I'm going to share today our Istanbul Grand Airport journey on the infrastructure, on the technology related issues like new age, new wave AI or agentic AI. First, let me describe the areas, the size. You can see on that side, our area. It's about 76 million square meter, that area. It's a huge area. We had fuel tanks, we had a port, we have now 3.5 runway because one of them just the half, and at the end of the finish the all phases we will have 6 runway. 5 of them south to east like that, from here to that side, south to east. This is the Black Sea, this is the Mediterranean Sea. You can see that right hand for the Istanbul Bosphorus. Maybe you know the geographical memory. If you refresh your mind, think about the Turkish map, Turkey map. This is the left hand and up to the Black Sea, and from the south area to north area. This is the Black Sea shore. You can see that area. These are once upon a time coal mining areas. Today is airport, one of the biggest airport in the world. On the right hand, there are some phases for the infrastructure's constructions. You know that we complete the green part today. It's 90 million people. Capacity has ready today. Hopefully, we will add on the extra capacities inside without doing anything. Today, we reached this year 84 million people, 84.4 million people use that area. It means that we are very close to our phase 1 capacity. Our age is 8 years old. We opened at the 2018, that airport. After that, we have a COVID experience, you know that. And on the COVID time and after the COVID time, we can a little bit up to the world's aviation numbers also. You can make a little comparison between the other airport. Atlanta is one of the biggest airport. You can see that middle, the size, and you can make the comparison in your mind. It's operational till April 2019, okay? Our airport designed or based for the global transfer hub, more than half of them capacity used by the transit or connection flights also. And also there is one terminal or single terminal, just like a shopping mall. You can enter the one place and you can go to the knuckle areas. All the airplanes will park on the gates, and there will be collect from the gates to the one exit entrance also. This is the new approach for the enterprise airport or in airport hubs. There are another phase here, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4. We are going to add 2 runway from southeast, 1 runway. This is the half of them has been constructed east to west. Between the 2 runway, we are going to put another terminal. This is the terminal 2 after the phase 3 or phase 2 between time. We have some awards. This is normal maybe. We got some best. I heard from the Swisscom another best. We have another best here. That's why best times best, it means best squared, I think that. These are best also here. These are accomplished. This is not an imaginary. This is not an imagine. This is reality. Our vision is to offer the airport experience of the future from today. And also that airport born digitally because we designed all things for the digital needs, digital aspects, digital requests, and the modern technologies and new gen operations approach also. When you make that, I mentioned about the digitally born, because we are new. There are many big airports that are not born digitally. After that, they transfer digital capability because of the new changes, new technologies. But our chance is eventually we born as a digital born because we start from the Greenland. And we have an experience from the old technologies, old airports from the Istanbul airport. That's why we built all things block by block, just like a Lego block, as a digital approach. And we are very open-minded to adopt to the new digital technologies like AI approach, like digital TV, because we bought all tender with the new tech. The new tech operations has a built-in AI and new tech opportunities to integrate to each other is very important point to build an airport. You can buy the all capabilities from the many vendors, multi-vendors. Our approach is the vendor agnostic approach. Vendor agnostic means we have to integrate bus or we integrate schemas, all vendors, all suppliers, because the integration issue is the main issue for the building a new airport. Not to buy the new tech, to integrate them each other closely and the friendly running base maybe. That's why we had some greeting bots, recycle bots, info bots, delivery bots, cleaning bot, or some PIS kiosks and new text approach. We will find the indoor navigation issues by the help of some new tech approach. And also, we have an AP called APOC, Airport Operations Centers, or AI-based Airport Operations Center. We have a digital twin or digital copy of all airport activities in one big room, just like a sport hall. All the parties, all the stakeholders could arrange and could coordinate at that APOC center in one hand. There is next year, we start another operations. This is the second airport operator will accomplish triple runway operations. Simultaneously, three runways has been operated together mutually at the same time. This is called triple runway group or triple runway operations. 3 runways has been used at the same time for landing and taking off or lifting off. It means they will decrease the latency, it will increase the efficiency, and there is another approach. This is the second airport in the world running the parallelly three runways at the same time. In Europe, it is the first airport running the triple runway operations because we had an capacity, we had an request, and we had an runway operations capabilities. It will affect three ways. This is one of them, dynamic taxiway optimization. The second is departure management applications or the solutions. And third is airport collaborative decision management approach. These 3 subjects or solution approach has been applied to the old triple runway operations also by the help of our experienced aviation people. There is another issue. Everybody is used to airports, you know that, and we have luggages. Put the luggages behind the airport and airlines and the checkout. We have a question. When we reach our destinations, where is my baggage? am I going to reach my baggage because my suits are in there, my medicines in there. If you lose it, is there anybody lose his luggages anywhere? For example, I flew from Istanbul to New York. I have no baggages. At the morning, I have a speech, but I have nothing. I called my friends, and at the beginning of the Monday, because there is no shops, there is no anywhere, I flew with sports shoes, but I have no luggages. That's why my friends give something else. There is something on it. They have to retouche. But I have no suitcases. I have no jackets. I have no pants. I did it, but this is a real stress. Is there anybody except me? Think about that. That's why, maybe very classic issue, there is no technology issues at that time. We know that way. We construct or installed the biggest airport in the world, but one of the biggest solution for the baggage handling systems. This is another approach. There are a mezzanine between the floors in the airports. We put in the baggage systems inside, and we will collect the baggage from the checkout, check-in kiosks, check-in issues, and we will put the tickets on it or label it, and we will easily deliver to the ground services companies, and they will deliver to the airlines for the cargoes areas without having any mistakes, without having any mixtures. It's very important for the airport operations, activities, and optimizations. We did it. We have a very good baggage handling systems. You never wait when you reach our airport, any baggage waiting issues. The carousels waits you within baggages. This is because of the one approach. This is the shopping mall approach. This is the one terminal approach. Maybe taxis runway takes time, but you cannot wait the baggage. Baggage waits you. You cannot wait the baggage in our airport. If you try in the experience with our airport, you can see that. If you are a transfer passengers, don't worry to miss your luggages or baggages missing in our airport, because there is a good connection, because we are designed for the hub transfer or connection also. Every bag, every step, always visible because of our mottos. There is another issue. We got the best mobile apps because new gen or Z-gen people always use the mobile app. We integrate our auto parks or car parks applications, our airlines solutions, our waiting issues, our FIDS, and the other applications issues has been integrated to our mobile app, and we got some award from the Skytrax and others. We are the best mobile app in the world, and this is very important for us because we call that our aim. Always our features will be mobile first approach. If we did something, we are designing, we are developing mobile solutions because our aim is, our motto is mobile first approach for the new gen passengers, new gen peoples. Of course, there are some applications issues around it. Now we are trying to position our mobile app as a super app. We are putting the other applications around the applications. When we did it, there is another issue. There are many transfer passengers. There are many connected passengers. There's a roaming problems. How do we solve the roaming problem? Maybe GSM people doesn't like so much. We have a free Wi-Fi in our terminal because of Wi-Fi are 24 hours free and unlimited. And also we upgrade all devices with the new tech by Huawei solutions for the Wi-Fi 7 technologies. This is another add-on or maybe enhancement for our terminal also. And also we create some values from that issues, indoor navigation, to find a mapping anywhere in the airport, because we have a huge terminal. It's about 1.5 million meters square. It means that if you make a little arithmetic, if you multiply by 1.5 million square with 50. This is our all airport areas, 50 times bigger than our terminal, our airports area also. And new tech with the Wi-Fi 7, we are planning to change with the beacon technology with the Wi-Fi 7. This is the maybe first application in the world, because there is an option with the Huawei Wi-Fi 7 solutions, the beacon opportunity for the indoor navigation. I don't want to mention too much because before me, the attendees listen from the many people, what is AI? What is agentic AI? I am a little bit poor when you make a comparison between before me. That's why AI is a reality. We are going to use the AI as a solution, as a built-in issues, as a part of the all issues, but it is not enough to understand anything. That's why we are looking for the aviation AI solutions, which has been performed by the tier 1 producers or the vendors. Sustainability and autonomous aviation is another issue for the aviation business. Zero carbon emissions is another problem in the world. We are respecting to all that issues. Green AI and net zero is another approach, another purpose. We are trying to apply with our stakeholders that issues in our terminal areas. There are many initiatives we have to follow that we have accepted, and we have the guarantee for against some subcommittees also. Autonomous vehicles, it depends on 5G, it depends on the latency, it depends on the transmissions, it depends on also other issues, because we have a buggies, very, very important issue for our buggy opportunity for our passengers. Autonomous vehicles is another reality for our airport also. I would like to thank to all attendees. Thank you.
Thank you. With current situation with airports at the moment in the Middle East, I think Istanbul is a good alternative to perhaps Doha or Dubai. But anyway, let's move on with the program. And now we're moving on to some announcements and white paper launches. So I wanted to welcome to the stage Mr. Martin Kriener, the Director General of World Broadband Association. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I mean, it's been a fabulous set of presentations so far. I think we've touched on the network challenges, the opportunities around AI, and then also the application side from the customers who are the customers of the operators. As Ronan says, we are now going to talk about some things that are at the heartbeat of the WBBA, the launch of work from our collaborative work programs. So let me, the first one, I'm going to spend a few moments talking about the first one. This is the output from our work group 4, and we've heard it was referenced in the presentation from Stephen, but it's about the Net 5.5G readiness assessment and certification. So the Net 5.5G program has been a really important program for the last 3 years really within the WBBA, and it's really based on the concept that in order to, we need to be building and designing and architecting end-to-end networks, not entirely focusing on one portion of that network. So it defines an architecture that runs from the access, or in the consumer access and campus, across the backbone network and all the way into the data center network, and looks at the different capabilities at different stages right across that network in order to meet the needs of the future. And it has been gradually producing a series of papers that reflect the different aspects of that Net 5.5G architecture, from the vision and the business case and scenarios, through the performance and societal requirements, the roles of stakeholders, the design blueprint and the architectural framework, and then some of the proof of concept programs. And we also heard it produced a paper 6 months ago on Net 5.5G for AI and AI for Net 5.5G. And now we're getting up into the deployment and certification phase of it. And what's being published it'll be launched today, is really the output of work that we've done around the Network Deployment Index, which is really trying to see what is the current state of play across the world and across the many players that we work with in terms of how they're deploying Net 5.5G and what are the key bits that are being mainly focused on. And this particular piece of work focuses really on questions in 4 areas: on the wide area network, on the campus networks, on the data center network, and then also on the readiness for autonomous networks. And you can see some of the results on the right-hand side there. But this was done across 28 different companies in 20 different countries across 5 regions. So this really is a piece of work that has global scope. And you can see in the wide area networks, the 400 gig Ethernet is getting wide adoption, and there's a lot of focus on 800 gig Ethernet. I think it was Dominique who said, we can't stop at 800 gig, we're going 1.6T or 3.2T, and that is quite true. But we're also seeing SR v6 having a huge amount of adoption, which is really important for the capabilities and stability of these networks. In campuses, we literally just heard a gentleman talking about Wi-Fi 7 deployment. By and large, that's still relatively leading edge. Wi-Fi 6 is the Wi-Fi deployment of choice. In the data center network, again, we're seeing 400 gig Ethernet and 800 gig Ethernet being deployed. And in terms of AI readiness and agentic AI, I think what we've seen in this report, and of course it's moving very rapidly, but the AI readiness level is going up constantly, and the AI readiness level is quite high. Agentic AI is still a twinkle in the eye in my view, and even though I think we got a number there, 27%, I think I would say we're still 6 to 12 months away from widespread adoption of agentic AI. And I see Kareem nodding in the audience there, because Kareem's going to come up on stage straight after me and talk about the launch of our big AI survey that we've done. So the other aspect in this report is the case studies from the Champions, a pioneer program, as it's called. And this program over the last number of years has built up a series of pioneers and champions around Net 5.5G. Visionary pioneers, the industry leaders in this area, regional pioneers, and that would be cities and big enterprises who are doing adoptions, and then business pioneers, the operators and enterprises that are deploying Net 5.5G. And what we see, and you can see on the right-hand side there, these come from all over the world, from Asia Pacific, Middle East, Europe, Africa, and Americas. And also included in this launch is a whole wide range of case studies for Net 5.5G deployment. So Net 5.5G, really important piece of work coming out of the WBBA. It's been a constant stream of work. And for those of you who are busy deploying that next generation, you need to understand this whole suite of work that has been delivered over the last while. So what we're going to do is invite up the people who were involved in this paper development and the whole suite development, so that we can have a formal launch of this paper on stage. So if you could join me on stage, all of you who are, I don't know if you've got a list of names there, but you know who you are. So maybe you can join me on stage.
So Dr. Lee, please come on stage to join. And Mr. Leon Wen, Mr. Marcus Grabber, Mr. Dominic, Mr. Liu Jiyong, Dr. Riha, Mr. Thomas Ng, Mr. Latif Ladid, Mr. Tayyip, Mr. Mohammed of AICTO, Akin of Tuxel, and representative from the Internet Associations of Kazakhstan, and also representative from Zona, and Ronan from Omdia, please.
Okay, I would like now to introduce to the stage here my colleague, actually, Dr. Karim Arsal from Omdia, who's Senior Principal Analyst, and Mark Giles, Research Director at UCLA. Thank you.
Hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Thank you, Martin. Yes, so today, basically, we're going to have a little chat about AI adoption in telecom operators. And as the Working Group 7, we ran a big survey, which is, thank you. And to move this forward, if I'm clicking it and if it's not going? Okay, thank you. So basically we reached out to more than 340 telecom professionals that are actively involved in AI initiatives worldwide. And also we had like in-depth interviews with several telecom operators, both members and non-members, which was actually fantastic. We got to hear from everybody. And basically the report is sharing some findings, critical findings, where you can compare maybe yourselves against the peers, get a better assessment of where things are at and where things are going in terms of how much adoption is there, which areas of application do we see AI in telecom operators, what are the plans, what are the motivations to invest and challenges to deploy, technology and partnership preferences for AI deployments. Then we have a specific focus on AI in networks, and also perhaps most importantly, how are these AI initiatives performing relative to expectations? So if you, for instance, launch it, deploy AI in order to save costs, is it actually bringing those returns? If you're doing it for growth of revenue, is it bringing those returns? So we believe that it's a powerful reference document for our membership base. Hopefully you're going to enjoy it. You have the QR code to download it. Basically, before I let Mark join the conversation, I just wanted to share one little piece of broad data. So we're going to share a few nuggets with you. And this is one of the earlier nuggets in the report, which is in which areas do you see AI adoption the strongest? Many of those things that are at the top are actually quite familiar, as expected. Network automation, operations, and design, as you can see, is not at the top at the moment. However, it is set for the biggest jump within the next 2 years. So, there are multiple reasons why it's delayed or maybe lagging compared to other areas at the moment, but the jump is definitely going to be there. So, basically, what I want to do is first of all, Mark, maybe you may want to introduce yourself before I pose my question to you.
Sure, really rapidly. I've been an observer on this project. I can vouch for the detail and the work that's gone into this, and I really think the WBBA should repeat this on an annual basis if possible, because it's really important to track how this evolves over time. My name is Mark Giles. I'm the research director for Ookla, previously in a previous life of Ovum, or Omdia, as it is now. So I have active interest in this. Ookla, crowdsourced leader in network intelligence. We monitor via the speed test app and down detector the state of connectivity globally at a user level. So we see beyond perhaps what the network providers always see into how the user's actually experiencing the network.
Excellent. One of the deeper questions that we asked was about the AI usage in the context of networks. And as you can see, there were several use cases that we asked, both about today and tomorrow, where things are at. So today, what we see is AI being used most heavily for energy savings, performance monitoring, traffic optimization, field operations, and fault detection. Now, I think these are aligning really well with most of the examples that we saw, by the way. These were the themes that I've seen come over and over again by the operators, including Orange, you mentioned similar cases, or Swisscom mentioned similar cases, same with China Telecom, quite similar. In the future, one of the things that we see is probably going to be more prevalent is also more focus on automation of service provisioning and configuration, and also perhaps a bit more use of AI in design and planning processes, maybe with digital twins. Now, I'm wondering, Mark, how do these resonate with your experience? Where do you see AI being used most extensively in networks?
Yeah, it's really aligned with how we see things, really. It's moving from the kind of managing complaints where users have issues, those kind of low-hanging fruit, the chatbot LLMs on customer service side, to then starting to move into the network and looking to improve, the OpEx side of the equation, but also improving the customer experience. I think that's where we see things moving, but there are clear challenges as well. I think one of the drivers for operators moving into this space more on the network side is just that complexity. That ability to be able to diagnose faults or predict faults in the network, which previously perhaps, faults would happen and they're having to backpedal and figure out what's going on. We're seeing more and more extreme weather events around the world, and our data really shows that networks can go down for extended periods, particularly when the battery backup isn't there. So understanding what's happening and when and how you can remedy that is incredibly important.
Thank you. Another thing that we've asked was, what are the biggest challenges to overcome in AI adoption? And here, I think the data we cut in a very interesting way, which is we compared the pioneers, those who are high in adoption, that are maybe having organization-wide deployments, multi-department deployments, and we compared them against those that are still in the early phases of their journeys. We found actually the results to be quite interesting and telling, because there's a lot of learning for those who are at the early stages about what is coming. So one of the things I think that's static is that, and maybe I should stand up for this so that you can see it a little bit more clearly, is that the data quality and governance issues, along with the lack of skills, is common for both. The low adoption category is pink here. However, when you look at the comparison between the strong adopters and the low adopters, certain things become very visible. So first of all, the return on investment becomes clearer. So meaning the results are actually quite tangible when you start deploying AI. Secondly, the lack of use cases that can benefit from AI. So if you got question marks, those question marks start disappearing, meaning that more AI can be adopted across a variety of use cases. What also happens, though, is that if you look at the CapEx and OpEx, which are closer to the top, is that operators also start realizing that deploying AI is not cheap, and therefore, to them, CapEx and OpEx become a bit more real, and therefore, it becomes something that they should overcome. And finally, AI is complex, so especially from the perspective of integration with legacy IT and network infrastructures is not trivial, so there is work to be done on that front. Again, Mark, like in terms of the challenges that you see, what are some of the highlights for you?
I mean, data quality and governance issues stands out clearly, and it will remain a challenge, and that's why, you know, at Ookla, with our wealth of data, we see ourselves well positioned to try and help telcos get better intel on how their customers experience the network, if they are using AI to help power down parts of the network or certain bands, how's that impacting their customers? Things like digital twins, where they can feed in the data and understand and play around and see what the potential impact is. That's incredibly important. And also, you know, there's a lot of risk here as well, so telcos do need to be careful, right? I think there was an FT report from earlier this year which highlighted the AWS's use, a couple of major AWS outages that we see on Down Detector, actually, were linked to the use of AI coding agents and just a lack of oversight there. So clearly that operators really need partners, you know, strong partners with that expertise in AI to help them manage that transition. Very important.
Thank you very much. So this is basically the last chart that I wanted to show you, but the report itself is full of interesting insights like this. These are probably like 3 charts out of 40 charts with narratives and explanations about why we think the trends are the way they are, why today is the way it is, and why tomorrow will be the way it will be. So please download that report, and also many thanks to some of the familiar faces that I see here who have participated every week, once in every 2 weeks we came together, discussed implications, and also thank you Ms. Zhang Le from China Telecom for chairing us throughout, and thank you very much. And for the next session, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a great title, State of AI in Telecoms. McKinsey, Ernst & Young, they all have those kind of reports, so this is great. Oh, sorry. Oh, yes, got my podium back. Great. I'd like to introduce now one of my esteemed colleagues again. So Michael Philpott, who is Senior Research Director at Omdia. Please, welcome to the stage. Thank you.
So as well as Omdia, I'm also one of the researchers that work within the WBBA, within Working Group 1. And one of the key things that we write about a lot within Working Group 1 is the continued push of advanced fiber broadband networks to every single household so that every country around the world can move towards gigabit societies. However, within that, we also recognize the importance of cities, especially those that can act as a catalyst towards that wider, greater deployment. After all, just under 60% of the world's population live in urban areas. In some countries, this can be as high as 90%. And due to the local geography and demographics, then the cost of connecting customers can be much lower, and getting coverage to every household and every business in those areas can be much quicker. Additionally, local government, financial, industrial, health, and education facilities are often kind of co-located within cities. So if the aim is to get those fiber networks out to as many people and as quickly as possible, then starting with cities is not a bad strategy. So the WBBA recognized this, and last year they published 2 white papers, including the Gigasit Index, which was just launched last year, and I think is pretty much unique within the world. And we've just updated the data for that for 2026, but you can download these white papers already from the usual link within the WBB website. So what is the Gigabit City Index? Well, basically it's a way of quantifying the level of investment on a city basis, and then looking at the impact of that investment around the overall broadband experience within that city. So currently we look at 9 separate metrics. Around network infrastructure, we look at the fiber to the home coverage and the investment in 10G-PON technology. We then look at network connectivity, look at fiber to the home penetration, the penetration of advanced Wi-Fi, which we define as Wi-Fi 6 and above. And then we look at the percentage of the high-speed broadband connections, both above 500 megabits a second and also above a gig. And I say, then we compare that to the level of broadband experience, which we work with our partner Ookla around their speed test data. So we look at medium download, medium upload speeds, and then medium latency. So those metrics remain consistent from the 2025 index to 2026. The one development we have made this year is that we expanded the coverage from 30 cities up to 50 cities this year. So this chart shows the overall rankings, just a kind of an overview of those, and just like to take this opportunity to congratulate Singapore, Shanghai, and Hong Kong that make up the top 3. But overall, you can see there's a fairly good correlation between that network infrastructure investment, then with the network connectivity, albeit with a slight delay, as you might expect, and then the overall broadband experience. However, there are some cities that kind of book that trend. If you look at Shanghai and Rotterdam, for example, and they have very high scores when it comes to network infrastructure. Shanghai even has good scores when it comes to network connectivity, and yet both of those cities score kind of lowly around that experience compared to some of their peers that have kind of similar levels of investment. Similarly, you then have cities such as Bucharest and Bangkok that kind of punch above their weight a little bit when it comes to that broadband experience, especially again when they compare them to what they spent on that network infrastructure. And then the reasons for this is that kind of cities, just like countries really, can take different paths towards becoming those kind of gigabit societies. You can have cities such as Bangkok and Bucharest that have invested significantly in their fiber infrastructure, but have done that based on GPON technology today. So they still get today that good broadband experience. But it's important that they then shift towards that 10G PON technology so they can continue to kind of evolve that experience over time, moving kind of from left to right and within the chart. You've then got other cities such as Shanghai and Rotterdam that have invested significantly in their 10G PON coverage, but now need to kind of then invest in increasing and promoting their coverage and also their service development so they can move upwards in the chart to that corner. Of course, other cities can take that more direct route shown by the third arrow, where they kind of invest in their 10G PON technology as well as their service development in parallel. And so they can take that more direct route. But in truth, it doesn't really matter which route those cities and also those countries take, as long as they do move towards that top right-hand corner and become cities with true gigabit infrastructure at massive scale, so they can always ensure the excellent gigabit experience going into the future. So with that data is all available, so if you're interested in that, we're also then busy now writing the report, and that will be due out in the next couple of months. So please look out for that if you want more information and analysis. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael. And now I'd like to welcome to the stage another one of my colleagues, Ian Redpath, who is Research Director at Omdia. Thank you.
Thank you, Ronan. So optical network architecture and technologies in the AI era. So this was a white paper that was done in collaboration with a number of operators, and it was a combination. We didn't do a very specific point survey, but it was just a combination of research that had been building up over the course of the year, along with the operator use cases that were introduced. So I really would like to thank all the participating co-authors. This really gives us, covered a lot of different use cases, covered a lot of different regions, and really gives the white paper a lot of authority when you can add the concrete activities that operators are taking and looking at in this area. Just for folks that don't spend a lot of time thinking about an optical core, we're in a really, really interesting time right now. AI has really energized the optical core, and it's really putting a lot of challenges there, putting a lot of new requirements in place. And we're seeing this in terms of scale, performance, and resiliency. And so just to double click on a couple of those, we do think a lot about wavelengths and wavelength speeds. We do think a lot about systems One of the items that's quite interesting that's just come about that we don't think about, sort of day in, day out is the amount of fiber that is being deployed. We're seeing some tremendous fiber builds and scales. So for those that are familiar with the fiber of today, we can go from 432, we can go to 864. So there's a very large scale fiber being built, and then it's being built in terms of geographic scope as well. We've got a case of 500 long haul amplifiers, and if you think about 500 amps at 1,000 kilometer distance per amps, that's a large scale network, and then multiply that by the number of strands that are going in. So that's all backbone that's being built to connect us for the AI era. So we've got huge scale resiliency. I like some of the points that Dominic was mentioning in terms of diversity, triversity, and quadversity. And really getting to full mesh for these large scale networks. My favorite mesh that we have that is just being constructed today is the mesh across the Pacific Ocean. And if you think about the scale there, that is tremendous scale. We've got new nodes in Hawaii, Guam, Fiji, and French Polynesia that are the foundation of that mesh. And then, thinking about the AI era, it's got to be based on new networks. So, folks have been building network for years and years, and there can be, points of, areas where the networks can be upgraded to support this. So this is just a view of a network of today, and you can see that we're getting to 100 terabits per fiber pair, 1.6T. On the show floor, you can see some solutions that push beyond that. We're using, the full spectrum C plus L, and I wouldn't, we could go even beyond that in the future. And then the optical cross-connect in the core is a key innovation. So being able to switch optically, and we have much more operational visibility in the network today with coherent chipsets and the statistics that you can pull off of that, and more OTDRs that are deployed without the network, throughout the networks. And then new configurations. If you look at the graphic here, that's more of a kind of a hop by hop, and we can introduce express lanes to move traffic expediently. And here's a little bit of a snapshot of the use cases that are highlighted in the white paper. So we did get a nice suite of use cases here. The one from Turkcell really mirrors the previous chart that I just showed. MTN had a nice metro modernization use case that they see as really a foundational piece for accelerating their economy. And then OCS inside data centers. So that's another new development that has come about, not just electronic switching in the spine, but optical switching. And AI drove that quite clearly. I mean, that's been around as a concept for a decade, but AI really accelerated it. And quantum key is becoming table stakes. You'll hear a lot more about PON in an upcoming panel, and probably get into some of the safeguard applications there. And we're doing more and more in terms of AI assistance to help with operations and maintenance. So this is available today, and I'd encourage you to click the link and have a look. Thank you.
Thank you, Ian. So I think as we move furniture around, I just wanted to let you know that there is, the QR code you saw on the screen. You have it on the back there of your program, where you can access all of those white papers. So here's the QR code. And also, I would like to say that with some of those Omdia experts, so there's 8 of us working in the WBBA and helping with the white paper. So together, we've put a research council to help the WBBA to make sure that the thought leadership content is on point with what we see in the industry, and that the themes that are explored by the WBBA are relevant to all of the telecoms industry. So great, the furniture is in position. So I can now welcome to the stage then Stephen Wilson, who is another one of my colleagues from Omdia, a senior principal analyst. And then I would like to welcome Thomas Ng, CTO of Network Services at CTM in Macau. And then I would like to welcome Mark Smith, who is the Chair, International Broadcasting Convention Council. Thank you. And then I would like to welcome Dr. Latif Ladid, Founder and President of the IPv6 Forum. And then Abhishek Sandhir, Managing Director for Sand Technologies. And then Peter Hu, Vice President, GM of Wireline Marketing at ZTE. Thank you.
Yeah, so hello everyone. Thanks for attending. And this promises to be an interesting panel. So the title of the panel today is From Promise to Practice, Realizing the Value of Agentic AI in Broadband. So I think we're going to jump straight into it. I'm going to start with you, Thomas. So just in the first instance, I'd like to ask, how are you using Agentic AI today as a broadband operator?
Yes, thank you for your question. Before to answer your question, I would like to introduce a bit background of CTM. Actually, CTM is an integrated service operator. And we are also running 5G Advanced in the mobile, and we are the pioneer. We promise to be the pioneer of Lab 5.5G. And we also have the AI and Big Data Innovation Department who can serve internal and external customers. And from our broadband network record, we record about nearly 70% users using AI every day. So since 2017, we introduced the AI operations because we are running very complicated networks. We always upgrade to the latest version. So I would also like to share 3 use cases. The first one is about the fiber optical cable prediction, fault prediction, which collect from system alarms so that we use the agentic AI to predict where and when we'll have surface impact, so we can do preventive maintenance instead of reactive. Secondly, is about we also applied in the mobile cell site energy optimization. Because Macau is a city always suffering storm surge and typhoon every year. The electricity company will shut down the power grid, and so will affect the fixed broadband. So how we can make it connected is to using the mobile cell site. The battery power, we can use the AI to balance the user applications and remaining power so that it can extend the surface availability and to fulfill the service for the customers. The third one is I would like to share is about the AI NOC. You know, the operation center always handles lots of alarms and lots of inquiries and lots of operations. So in order to improve the work and fulfill the SLA, so we introduced the AI in last year. So you can support the duty staff to do their work and improve the work quality. Yeah, thank you.
And any lessons learned of those use cases you have deployed so far?
Yes, I would like to say in the beginning, it's about the people, because you know, people do not want to change always. So what we to do is to communicate them and establish some user case so that they can see how AI support their work and improve their work quality. So they, after they have the confidence, then we continue about this one and we build up the AI operation team so that they can work, they can do, work hard and do more iterations, because when the user's case, it needs to be tailor-made. So we have to work hard. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for that. That's really interesting to learn about the findings so far, the best practices, and so on. So I think we're gonna switch here to Mark. From a different perspective, I wonder if you could share your experience on the core requirements for network intelligence. Maybe you can introduce your role a little as well.
Yeah. So I'm Mark Smith. Yeah, good to see you all. I'm with the IBC is the hub really for broadcasters around the world. Not only broadcasters, but the kind of relatively new streaming platforms, as well as rights holders and owners of content. Plus the ecosystem that serves international broadcasters. So we have an event in Amsterdam every year in September. Around 50,000 people come to that, and it's really a who's who of international, of blue chip international broadcasting brands and streaming platforms. So it's really, there isn't an international association of broadcasters. There is in America, but it's very domestic. It's called the National Association of Broadcasters. But internationally, IBC is the closest you get to that. And I think there was a realization about 6-7 years ago that these things were coming down the line, right, for broadcasters, that they had to work together and collaborate around things just on the big picture, digital transformation. But AI was a part of that. We were doing projects looking at how broadcasters might use AI back into 2018, 19. And that was things like regulatory compliance, because, these trusted brands, particularly in news, needed to automate that process of conforming to the regulations around content, profanity, nudity, anything with violence, for example. And so they were using AI to detect some of those things. And that was part of an accelerator program that we introduced, which I created, which brings together broadcasters and platforms and technology companies and big tech and small tech and startups to look at some of the challenges that broadcasters and streamers face. So since then, we've run more than 50 projects since 2019, had more than 400 international organizations involved in the program, and we identify the most complex challenges that keep broadcasters awake at night, And I think, the most critical applications of AI and agents has been really in news. Because these brands, their reputation is on the line around trust. And so we've had leading organizations like ITN, Independent Television News, Associated Press, Washington Post, NBC Universal, and BBC, of course, and many others that have come and created incredible projects using AI assistance, particularly around for live production. But agents can be used right the way across the value chain, from the creation of content, right the way through to the management of content, distribution of content, consumption. There is a million use cases for AI agents in media, and so we've got some great projects running this year as well, and we're talking with the WBBA about taking part in potentially 4 of the projects that we're running this year, hopefully. They all have a big network and a connectivity and a broadband component to them, so that's partly why I'm here today, which is great.
All right, great stuff, and really interesting to learn how long that's been going on and how advanced it is.
It's called the IBC Accelerator Program. Yeah.
Check it out. All right, well, let's switch to Latif here. As the IPv6 forum, I'd just like to ask you, how do you think IPv6 and AI can go together to improve telecom networks?
So let me make it easy for you. So first of all, I'm very impressed by the work done by this association, obviously run by Dr. Lee, who has the biggest company in the world that has IPv6, which made China #1 with over 900 million people using IPv6 without knowing it. And Martin putting together a great team to work on the papers, especially on the standardization of net 5G, net 5.5G. And I see in this room a lot of IPv6 experts, which is very rare. So I'm glad to see Liu Dong here, who runs the IPv6 Council in China. who has introduced IPv6 in China 25 years ago. And what's interesting, the first time when 3GPP was started back in December 98. So we had IPv6 ready from the ITF, and the IPv6 Forum is the only organization accepted by the ITF to promote IPv6. So we saw the first killer application possible was basically 3G. So we went to 3GPP people at sea, and we explained to them that IPv6 is the right thing to do for such a... Nobody knew IPv6. And as a matter of fact, they didn't want to have the internet to be part of 3G, because they said, you know, this is nonsense type of applications of no use to the mobile operators and so on. It took us about 6 months until we explained to them, at least put it as an option. And then when they saw it working, we found out that IPv6 was not really run by the vendors. It was still IPv4. So we said, okay, for 3G, we can do it with IPv4. So you can imagine if we didn't do this work that you are doing now for a child, which is called the fixed networks, nobody's taking care of it. So this organization can, you know, make a killer application for AI using IPv6. You combine the two, and you have most probably a very interesting concept for the internet. As of today, the use is rather skeptic. I'm very skeptic about it. First of all, security is not there. Data is not verified. If you look at AI today, picking up all the information from Wikipedia, Reddit, YouTube, and so on, that data is not sure it's correct. So it's garbage in, garbage out. So there is a lot of work to be done in order to make AI to do what we expect it to do. So obviously with Agentic AI, that's a different situation. So it will modernize most of the companies. It will be very helpful for a lot of enterprise, especially SMEs, you know, to design their own plans and so on. So obviously, a lot of consultants are going to lose their jobs. So they better, you know, learn how to use Agentic AI and how to do it. So I'm very impressed with the work in such a short time, you know, to get ministers to sit in this room. That was impossible in the past. Or to get, you know, 100 ISPs deploying it already, or to get many papers from you, and getting also consultants like you know, to join in this discussion, because that's not possible in the other, you know, standardization group. They're quite close, and it takes them a lot of time, you know, to come up with goods. So I'll stop here. Okay.
No, very good. That's a great story to hear. I think we're just going to move to Abhishek now, and the question for you is, I mean, so how is Agentic AI being used today to deliver benefits for your telecom operator customers? Perhaps you can talk about your company a little and your background a little as well.
Yeah, so I lead the telco practice of a data science company called SAN Technologies. And we work with operators around the world in building these agentic AI use cases, which can actually create value both in technical operations as well as for commercial operations for operators. And it's good to hear when Thomas was talking about the experiences of onboarding some use cases, and he spoke about all the right areas where agentic AI can actually create an impact. And in the data science space, we are, say, one of the companies who's pretty close to the solutions. And before I get into what kind of examples we've already seen, I was quite intrigued and happy looking at one of the slides in the previous session where it showed the adoption of various use cases on agentic AI, and network planning, operations, and automation isn't the top use case yet, isn't the top category of use cases yet, but will be. Because this is where operators are seeing the maximum value as well as challenge. So, of course, operators carry on investing, whether that's fixed line networks or fixed wireless access or 5G or 5G plus or 6G, as we see in the advertising now. But somebody's got to pay for it. And the reality and the hard truth is that there's not that kind of money available with the buyers who will pay, say, doubly of what they're paying for their 4G, 5G services. So the operators have to be really targeted in their investments. Second, whatever they are doing in terms of network operations has to be managed very effectively. And third, dark NOC operations lend a lot of value to self-healing networks and also predicting the faults before they actually occur. So if you actually look at the thread here, it is all about predicting what's going to happen with accuracy. And for that, you need data. And then going to Dr. Ladid's point earlier about AI today actually relying on public sources of information, you can't really be sure whether that's accurate or not. It's just scouring the internet for information and just inferring from there. And then you are taking a risk whether you believe it or not. So the real impact of AI is actually in physical AI, in real world models, which do not rely so much on what's written and said by people, but actually in simulating what large infrastructure models actually use in terms of data and how they behave. So the real value in using AI and going to the theme from promise to practice, real impact is actually using AI for these complex use cases where you're not just relying on Gen AI and LLMs to scour the internet and infer from that, but rather use domain-specific information, club it with, say, specific LLMs, specific language models, and there are so many companies now coming up with telco-specific large language models. You combine that with 3GPP frameworks, you combine that with research that's happening, and you combine with the actual science and the physics that goes behind both running the networks and the users, how they use it and the kind of service they use to basically address questions on capacity building, on network operations, on energy optimization, on root cause analysis, on mean time to repair reduction, so that whatever is the dream is actually realized. And we see operators doing that. On network operations, we've already worked with operators who've actually cut down their cost of capex, but not cost of capex, actual capex by up to 70%. It's not hubris, it's real. 70% cost reduction in capex, 40% improvement in revenue from deployed capital, up to 20-30% improvement in payloads on payloads that they can deliver to prepaid mobile operators, and up to 40% reduction in fiber breaks. All that has a direct impact on the top line, bottom line, and customer experience. So lots of use cases. We have to tie the data to a proper use case, get the science behind it. And the good thing is that the technology, the infrastructure, the know-how, and the simulation ability, plus the adoption now, is all ready to basically leverage all that there is to offer.
Very good. So there's a lot going on. So same question really for you, Peter. So how do you see Agentic AI being used today to deliver benefits for your telecom operator customers?
So actually for ZT side, we just emphasize that we provide the end-to-end solutions to the operator customers and for the business customers. So actually, but now what we have the chance today, so because now we are talking about all the AI technologies, but the key point is what the business world will be changed in the future. Otherwise, if you can monetize your revenues, it's in the millions for the future, especially in the AI stage. So actually now, currently, we are just talking about a lot of the use cases for the AI agentic. So now we all know that in the futures, it will be changed the business model, like the B2C or C2C. It must be changed to the B2A. A is like the agent. And then is the agent transfer to the business at the third step. So actually for this part, it will be changed the business model on my concept. It's the first time. And then what's the use case for that? So actually, we just want to emphasize that we must to resolve the problems in the live networks. For example, we just face some challenges. It's around the low efficiency for the maintenance and some of the high capex for our networks. So we'll have at least some the questions in the live networks, and then we can resolve these problems. For example, some of the operators give us some of the feedback. The quality of the services of the broadband is quite low, and we have to do some analysis. So we know that nearly the 80% of the faults is caused by some of the Wi-Fi qualities. So we all know that the Wi-Fi qualities is the key point, and then we have the deep research for this part. What's the real root cause for the Wi-Fi quality? And we analyze for that. It's because someone or some of the users cannot have the right configurations in their networks. So now on this side, we have the Agentic for the subscriber and tell them what exactly, and even we can have some the simulate of some head map for our subscriber directly. And then we'll know that, oh, it will be resolve the problem, and it will be improve the satisfactions of the customers. So back to my ideas. So when we're talking about this AI Agentic, we must first to know what's the top priorities of the questions. And then we can congroup these questions one by one. I think it will be more efficiency. Otherwise, we are blindly. We cannot have the very right innovations in this stage. Yeah.
So efficiency is key. Okay, well, let's just move on here, and I'm going to ask each of you in turn sort of a similar question. So I think, Thomas, just to ask you first, I mean, how do you see the role of Agentic AI for the broadband segment evolving over time? What's your take there?
I would say the autonomous network, but it's not simply for operations, but also to expand the business. As I think many speakers talk about how to monetize. Actually, I also would like to share one project we work with Huawei is about it's called smart routing, which is to deliver the best service quality according to the user applications. That means based on different applications that we can upsell to different package. Yeah, thank you.
Very good. And I'm going to ask you, Mark. I mean, you talked about your accelerator program and all of that. I mean, which areas do you see as the most promising for future enhancements?
Well, I think we've got a project running this year with the GSMA, which is about network APIs and the open gateway, which I think is for broadcasters having a lot of the capabilities in the networks, for network quality of service, for example. Seeing how kind of streaming is performing over a network, for example, is a brilliant kind of, I think, has a lot of potential. I think there's lots and lots of others that for broadcasters working together with networks, I think you can unlock a lot more capabilities. John Hoffman talked about that this morning, capabilities, I think things like resilience in networks and some of that is critical for broadcasters and streamers. And working on a number of other things that you can unlock with networks working together around identity, and recommendations around what consumers are looking for. There are many, I think, elements that can be unlocked by not just Agentic, but I think network capabilities. It's really critical, I think, that the two sectors kind of work together. It always has been, but connectivity is absolute. Again, somebody said that this morning. Connectivity is critical to the use of agents and the use of AI, and that's where I think the collaboration is absolutely key.
I mean, you highlighted resilience, and you hear that more and more. It is a fundamental thing. Latif, I mean, how do you see the role of Agentic AI for the broadband segment evolving over time?
Well, basically, automation has come with us for a long time. It started in the agriculture, so no farmers could use robots. So it will be for the intellectual the same thing as well. So I hope we will not, people won't lose their jobs. So I hope it will enhance the jobs themselves. So instead of spending a year on a project, maybe you spend only a month on it or something like that. So there should be a certain efficiency to be promoted, and not what I hear now from Amazon firing 30,000 people and so on, because they eliminate all the admin work. This is too capitalistic for my style. I think we should focus on really what is value, and the value of AI is how it can enrich us, how it can make us ethical, and how we can, really know what data is, where it comes from. So one technology that is not very well understood is blockchain, because it has been dirtied by the crypto, so it has a bad image. But blockchain as such is very important, because security is very tough to do on the internet. Especially, you can change the data, and that is bad. So you should introduce what is called immutable data, that nobody can change it. So first, you have to verify the source. And even the source has to be really verified. And then you have to timestamp that data, where it has. You create a story behind it. And then we can make it, in this case, non-changeable. This would be very important for any kind of project that you have, be it even AI today, so generative, whatever, and also for the next level, which is most probably very exciting, to make, let's say, anything which is intellectual to be higher. So you see, you can use that also in politics. There are many domains that need this kind of approach. We don't understand really democracy. So it's highly abused, democracy, because it gives you the freedom to anyone to do war, which is not democratic, as a matter of fact.
There are limitations.
Yeah, just to that point, I think for media, provenance, where does that content come from? And things like blockchain are really kind of are really breaking some ground in terms of being able to track content and where and who owns it. And there's another initiative in our industry called C2PA, content provenance, about an initiative with some of the big tech players in trying to track and understand where content is created, where it's manipulated. And again, this comes back to the trust thing, but you're absolutely right. Blockchain could be one of the many things, but AI agents, in terms of ensuring the provenance is a key part of the news workflow is key.
Yeah, you can write a paper. You can write a paper on this one, on blockchain. Huh?
It's a big deal. So moving on to Abhishek, how do you see, from your perspective, the role of Agentic AI for broadband going forward?
Of course, we discussed the use cases. The industry's got to trust Agentic AI. And you build trust if there is traceability. So yeah, I was quite happy to explore that theme of blockchain, but you need traceability so that if an agent, so there's a feasibility agent, there's an action agent, there's agents talking to each other, but which agent used what model to infer what and issue a command to which other model that action. If the black box is not decoded, if it is not explainable, it will not be adopted. So in the future, in the very near future, Agentic AI has to go beyond that black box image. Under the hood, you should be able to see what models, at what time, at what action, what data was used, what was the source of that data. You need the entire explainability in the whole stack. And if that is achieved, then the agents will be very effective at, one, looking at the right data sources, which is trusted, which is authentic, will be able to do the right thing by calling in the right agents to actually action, and then also monitor whether the intended outcome has been achieved and if it has to be changed. So traceability is the biggest one for me.
Great. That's good to hear. And then Peter, what about you? How do you see Agentic AI evolving over the next few years?
I think the key point is maybe we just reconstruct all the organizations of the human resource. Because now when we're talking about the agentic, that means it can do everything, especially for some the leader in your teams. because some of the leader is just assign some of the tasks for the employees. But then this of the size of the departments can be replaced by the agentic. So that means sometimes the low levels of the working guys, it will be replaced, and then it will be some short for our human resource of the architectures. And then we all know that we have the method for our working relations. One is we just working with the agentic, and another is working with the people. So maybe it will be changed the method and the relationships for our societies. So this will be, I think it would be changed. But the key point is, what's our the value, core value of being the human? Because now we think that only the one thing is cannot replacement, is the relations face to face. So I think this is the key point, and for the agentic maybe it just can do some duplicate things, and then it will improve our efficiency, but don't touch our relationship of the humans.
That's always going to be there. Great. Well, I think that concludes our panel. So I'd like everyone to give a round of applause for our participants. So thanks everyone for a really interesting and engaging discussion. So thank you.
Excellence in broadband deserves global recognition. Across the world, innovation is reshaping how we connect. In 2024, the WBBA Broadband Excellence Awards celebrated the pioneers leading this transformation. In 2025, global operators, technology leaders, and innovators came together to showcase real-world impact. From AI-driven networks to smart gig cities and digital inclusion, excellence was on full display. Honoring innovation, inspiring progress. Join the 2026 Broadband Excellence Award and shape the future of broadband.
Okay. The World Broadband Association Broadband Excellence Awards are returning, and submissions will officially open in May. Today we've heard bold strategies, breakthrough deployments, and real AI-driven transformation. But great work deserves global recognition. If you are building next-generation infrastructure, redefining network capability, and leading meaningful broadband innovation, then please step forward, submit your achievements, and set the benchmark for the industry. The Broadband Excellence Awards are not just about trophies. They are about defining what excellence looks like in the next era of connectivity. We encourage every operator, partner, innovator in this room to participate. Before we move to our next segment, we are pleased to mark an important milestone for our industry. And today, the World Broadband Association and TM Forum come together to formalize a strategic collaboration through the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding. In a time when broadband networks are evolving towards AI-native, cloud-driven, and software-defined architectures, alignment between industry bodies is more critical than ever. WBBA brings global leadership in broadband development and infrastructure evolution. TM Forum brings deep expertise in digital transformation frameworks, open architectures, and operational standards. Together, this collaboration represents a powerful step forward, accelerating innovation, enhancing interoperability, and creating greater value for operators and the wider ecosystem. It is not simply a signing ceremony, a commitment to work more closely, to align strategy with execution, and to shaping the next generation of intelligent broadband networks. May I now invite the representatives of, first, Martin Creamer, Director General of WBBA, and Nick Wellets, CEO of TM Forum. Thank you.
I did ask them to put a microphone here on the table as well, because Nick and I have worked together for so long, 25, 26 years. I think we both started in TM Forum on the same day, many, many, many years ago. And it's fabulous just to have the opportunity now for the WBBA to work more closely with TM Forum. I think Nick's ears must have been burning today during this show, because so many people presenting at our event talked about TM Forum ODA or TM Forum AI maturity, measurement frameworks and so on. So yeah, I think this will be a really great opportunity to work together and to get the band back together.
Well, thank you, Martin. And it is a really important moment, I think, for the industry, because the work that WBBA is doing and the conversations Martin and I have been privileged to have really highlight the role of this industry stepping into the future, whether it be in developed economies or developing economies. I believe that the broadband market is one that is going to underpin this next generation of AI adoption, and that the work we can do together is going to really create a brand new foundation for a much healthier industry as well. So we're absolutely delighted from a TM Forum point of view to be doing that, and like Martin, personally, great to be working with a very good friend as well.
As we conclude today's Broadband Development Congress Barcelona, on behalf of the WBBA, I would like to sincerely thank you, all of you, for joining us. We hope you find today's discussions insightful, practical, and inspiring, and that conversation here will continue later on. We look forward to welcoming you again for the next chapter of Broadband Development Congress in Shanghai in June. And all of you attending Mobile World Congress in Barcelona, we wish you every success possible for the rest of the week. Thank you.